Bienvenidos a todas y a todos los hispanoparlantes que se están uniendo hoy día. Les comentamos que la sesión va a ser traducida del inglés al español. Les pedimos que seleccionen el canal correspondiente o inglés o español. Incluso si prefieren oír la charla en inglés, es bueno seleccionar el canal del inglés para que puedan escuchar las preguntas en ambos idiomas. Además, las personas chinoparlantes será traducido de manera automática en sus computadores.
So just if you have just joined us, please do select interpretation channel, which is if you want to hear the interpretation in Spanish, do select Spanish. If you want to hear it in English, then please do select English. Either way, and we will be going to kicking off. Liv, would you mind to get us in, please?
Thank you, Eric. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this event, Engage with Ideas, arranged by the Design Literacy International Network. My name is Liv Nielsen, and I'm chairing this network together with Ursula Bravo and Erik Bohemia. Today, we have invited Professor Arild Berg from Norway to present his ideas, and the title of his presentation is Design Literacy in Health and Technology Education. And before we start, just a few words about the network and our events. By arranging these events, we want to open up for engaged researchers from all over the world to present their ideas on design competencies. It is done here on this platform once a month. All presentations are also saved at our website, most of them translated into Spanish, some also into Chinese. Through these events, we share ideas on design competencies in context. It may be as planned competencies, as in formal curriculum, or as acquired competencies, as an outcome of education or relate to design processes, all under the umbrella of design literacy. We have experienced how other fields of knowledge also have developed and articulated their special competencies, such as health literacy, financial literacy, and eco-literacy. Competence is a precondition for wise decision, and wise decisions are of great importance if we want to move the world in direction of a better and greener tomorrow. And we acknowledge our diverse backgrounds in different contexts of design and design education in different parts of the world. And I see this as an advantage for these events, as we are different. Also, a few words about Professor Berg. Professor Berg is educated both as an artist of ceramics and an educator of design. He's a man of ideas, cooperation, and ability to complete projects and involve students in research. Berg is heavily involved in the EU project Craft Hub, and he holds a professor position both at Oslo Metropolitan University in Oslo and Western Norway University College in Bergen. As you know, this talk will be translated into Spanish, so we kindly thank Laura at Universidad del Desarrollo in Santiago for joining us for this. So, Arild, I'm very much looking forward to your presentation. And after the presentation, we open up for comments and questions. So, Arild, please, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Liv, and thank you to Erik and Ursula as well for all the preparations. And welcome to everybody. I will share some of my ideas and thoughts about design. I will see now if I can.
Perfect, we can see that.
Good. So, welcome everybody, and they are all participants in this 31st event hosted by Design Literacy International Network, where we share ideas about design and how we deal with our design approaches. I know there are many interesting approaches among you, and I would appreciate much if you share some of your experiences or reflections about the talk I'll have today. I think the topic of engage with ideas is very inspiring because it is about our motivation to do what we do. I'm motivated for doing a specific approach in my working life. And in this forum, I can share some of my background, why I work the way I do. I look forward to hear some of your thoughts on similar or related topics. I'll talk about the idea of co-creating interdisciplinary design educations. Further, I will elaborate on a practical realization of an interdisciplinary design education in health and technology. But before that, I'll share two examples from my own practice that has made me engaged in interdisciplinary collaboration. And just a minute. Yeah. Do you now see slide 2? Yeah, good. I work now as a professor in product design at Oslo Met, but before that I did my PhD in arts at the Aalto University in Finland, where I wrote about how to use participatory design approaches to make art in public space. I wanted to explore how art can contribute to innovation, how we can get an idea together, how the idea can be materialized in ceramics in a physical space, and how the physical artworks could be implemented in the environment and become an integrated part of the institutional practice. As you see in the model, this is about conceptualization, materialization, and implementation. I used a participatory approach inspired by action research and participatory design. I used a scientific approach based on how to explore what happens when a diversity of professionals meet in practice in a creative process. My master degree was in ceramics at Oslo Academy of the Arts, and after my exam, I worked with architectural ceramics, but also with teaching about porcelain and form at a dental technician education. Dental morphology is about learning the form of teeth and how to form and design the teeth in porcelain, and I was teaching about that. I didn't foresee this kind of practice in dental technician education with my ceramic art education, and in some way I was surprised that my education in ceramics led me into this area, but in some way it was also obvious. Later, I was also surprised during my PhD when I collaborated with nurse researchers in mental health, when I did an intervention at a ward for elderly people with mental health issues. We developed ceramic forms that was meant to stimulate communication among patients, staff, and visitors. I was surprised of what was working best for communication. One example was the placement of the ceramic images on the wall, and by putting a tile by the floor, many patients identified with the tile. It was breaking the system. This was an idea that came from the nurse. She wanted to do something that was a bit out of order. There were many ideas in interdisciplinary collaboration that surprised me, and I found that mutual respect for others' competence is important, and of course, mutual trust in others' competence. These are just two examples that inspired me to work with more interdisciplinary collaboration in design education. I now work with philosophy of science and design research in a master program and collaborate with the research group Design Literacy, where Liv Merete Nilsen and Eva Lutnes belong. We have collaborated and contributed to a new interdisciplinary PhD program in innovation for sustainability. I have, among other things, also been a project leader for a new interdisciplinary PhD program in engineering science at Oslo Met. Interdisciplinary approaches are necessary to succeed with the United Nations sustainability goals. So this is competence needed for the future. First, I want to look back to the Learn X Design 2021 conference that was hosted by Shandong University in Jinan, China, and was delivered online from 24th to 26th of September 2021. There were 338 authors from 39 countries who contributed with 168 submissions as research papers, case studies, visual papers, and workshops. The peer review was double-blind by a 219-member international scientific panels. I was very lucky to contribute to track number 5, co-creation of interdisciplinary design education, with in an editorial group with Camilla Groth from University of Southeast Norway, Fausto Medola from Sao Paulo State University in Brazil, and Kate Selden from OCAD University in Canada. In this track, we welcomed contributions that discussed challenges and potentials experienced by researchers engaging in interdisciplinary research involving design and other domains. We discussed these issues in relation to both practice and related research, but foremost in education and collaborative curricula development. Collaboration and cross-disciplinary creativity are essential 21st century skills, and students need to be exposed to these aspects early. However, curricula development always need to be one step ahead to enable swift and purposeful educational development. To facilitate these changes, collaborative efforts are needed between disciplines, especially in the educational sector. Professionals from several domains thus need to educate each other and form a common language to be able to reach over the disciplinary borders. I now will discuss how this ideological aim from co-creation of interdisciplinary design education manifested itself in a practical case. And this case was about design literacy in health and technology education, and how the concept of the design literacy has informed development of a new interdisciplinary master course in health and technology. The Faculty of Technology, Art and Design at Oslo Metropolitan University introduced this degree program in 2023 together with the Faculty of Health Sciences at Oslo Met. We used a design approach in the development of the courses, where the different specializations in the master program was informed by user perspectives, where the users were the professionals in health and technology, the patients, and the companies that was connected to the practice. However, the mission from start was to integrate many more specializations, including one specialization in design in the interdisciplinary master program. Due to new priorities at Oslo Met, this aim was changed, and thus it lacked funding for startup. Still, the course, Interactions in Health and Technology, has become an elective course included for design students. I will now exemplify the design literacy in health and technology in more detail by moving your attention to a recent chapter in a book published last week. The chapter is called A Salutogenic Approach for Collaboration in Health and Technology. The book is about health promotion. The editor was Bishop Swaram Garg from the Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Medical Sciences in India. Our chapter described the development of the master course, and the authors of the chapter were all from Oslo Met, including Safura Johansen, Anne Lund, Mikael Riegler, and Jorunn Andersen. The abstract, in summary, was through collaboration, health services and health promoting environments can be influenced by patients, health professionals, and stakeholders. Antonovsky's concept of salutogenesis includes the promotion of a sense of coherence, where the feeling of meaningfulness and people's ability to influence their own situation is central. These concepts were the units of analysis in this embedded case study, including the educational project analyzed in relation to relevant research projects. The educational project was the development of a new master course, Interactions in Health and Technology, for students with different background in health-related education, including radiography, occupational therapy, biomedicine, biomedical laboratory science, artificial intelligence, and design. Here are some of the keywords that, in a short way, sum up the main topics in the article. But in the introduction part, we write about how new technologies have affected our insight to health, including new ways of understanding approaches to health research systems, the use of Antonovsky's theory and ontological position can be valuable in future health research as it integrates people in interaction with their environment, as well as experiencing chaos and change as a normal state of life. The salutogenic approach will contribute to flexible choices and possibilities to adopt to change for health professionals in a complex society. Further, we wrote about how Andrew Abbott developed a theory about the system of professions concerning how expertise is changing in working life. He addressed how all different professions have interacted through the ages and how new professions challenge previous professions as society evolves. There is such a change in positions between different professions, but also internally within the health system, there are changes of professions shown in a study about the coordination between health service professions. The study showed that it's not the conflict between understanding that is the main challenge for the interaction, but the lack of such a conflict. This is supported by literature on teamwork, where stages of multidisciplinary team building in public health is characterized by forming, storming, norming, and performing, where the storming part includes potential situations of conflict, such as discussions. Therefore, it can be important to not avoid conflicts, but to strive for negotiations and discussions that highlight differences to achieve a real mutual understanding and reciprocity competence and respect for each other's work. In the study, we thus see different examples of what sense of coherence means in different disciplines in interaction in health technology, and we place a special emphasis on a sense of coherence, meaningfulness, and people's ability to influence on sustainable development. The first example you see an image of here is referred to diagnostics where phantoms, which you can see here, and computer tomography technology are used. The phantom will also contribute to build up a feeling of mastering and coping, as well as establishment of an interaction between the team members. In other words, the phantom can be seen as an example of an interdisciplinary artifact, a boundary object where the different professionals can connect to understand a phenomenon with different backgrounds. Other examples of using this salutogenic approach are related to health promotion, both in healthcare settings and in the communities. In occupational therapy, humans are seen as active beings taking part in and creating meaningful activities resulting in improved health, quality of life, and well-being. This can be seen as another way of understanding sense of coherence raised by Antonovsky. The example is about involving older adults in technology research and development discussions through Dialogue Cafe. Citizen involvement is important for ensuring the relevance and quality of many research and innovation efforts. Literature shows that inadequate citizen involvement poses an obstacle during the research, development, and implementation of assistive technology. The study also showed that dialogue cafes enable all the residents at an assisted living facility to contribute with opinions about their needs and their perspectives on assistive technologies. Further, a sense of coherence perspective can be applied to interdisciplinary work within biomedicine and artificial intelligence, including the process of creating a collective understanding of the task at hand and interpreting the data resulting from the artificial intelligence algorithms in a biological and patient-related context. The integration of artificial intelligence in healthcare has the potential to revolutionize diagnostics, treatment, and patient care, both in hospitals and in home services for patients. However, interdisciplinary collaboration between medical professionals and artificial intelligence experts is essential for the successful implementation of such technologies. For the artificial intelligence experts, it was important to understand some biological concepts and observe the samples together with the medical experts. This could be done using a discussion microscope, which you see on the left, or looking at video clips together. Another aspect is to investigate which part of the video was used by the artificial intelligence model to ensure that a meaningful part of the image is analyzed by artificial intelligence, as you can see on figure 4, the figure on the right. This also leads potentially to a more visual understanding of what the algorithms actually are producing, compared to showing numbers that can be difficult to interpret in metrics. However, pedagogical approaches like problem-based learning and the forming, storming, norming, performing stages of team building can help students navigate these challenges and develop the interdisciplinary skills necessary for successful collaboration and a better cross-disciplinary understanding. By fostering a salutogenic approach, educators can promote a sense of coherence and a deeper understanding in their students, empowering them to create innovative solutions in the ever-evolving fields of artificial intelligence and healthcare. An example of a user-oriented approach is the PACER research project on patient-centered engineering in rehabilitation. Here, 4 PhD students collaborated, a physiotherapist, an artificial intelligence engineer, a designer, and a medical technology engineer, studying what it takes to achieve good interaction between them. Functional near-infrared spectroscopy, FNIRS, were designed as a cap where patients can wear to measure brain activity. Tests were done in a motion analysis laboratory, which you can see on the figure on the right, and the technology and user experience were often not connected, and the aim of the project included new educational perspectives and participatory design related to patients' everyday activities. The user experience is connected to what we call the front stage activities, but the premises for the treatment often happen in the backstage activities, including technology and diagnosis processes. People often have deep knowledge of their own situation and needs, which is why a user-oriented approach from service design has become increasingly common in health services. In the discussion, we will look at different success criteria for interdisciplinary collaboration in health and technology. The guiding process concepts in the pattern matching analysis were related to the success criteria with the salutogenic concepts, sense of coherence, meaningfulness, and ability to influence. As you can see in this image, you see the salutogenic concepts on the left, sense of coherence, and the examples from the cases on the right, which were the practical examples. And in the middle is the analysis where we try to identify concepts for collaboration in health and technology based on the examples from practice. Related to meaningfulness, we, for example, found that using phantoms to minimize radiation exposure was contributing to health, environment, and security. And using artificial intelligence for diagnostics contributed to improved diagnostics and patient treatment. Finally, we also found that the ability to influence a situation was related to, for example, co-creation processes for innovation of assistive technology by involving people, elderly people in the dialogue cafes, for example, or that co-designing new artifacts in health and technology could be related to construction of low-cost phantoms. Some educational perspectives were that a common language and interdisciplinary combinations are needed, and through problem solving and critical thinking, students can be encouraged to apply their knowledge and skills to solve interdisciplinary problems. Students should have a good understanding of the most important core concepts and aspects by learning foundational concepts from several fields. Gradually, they can build on these foundations with more complex topics, such as applying machine learning algorithms to predict patients' outcomes or personalizing treatment plans. By focusing on these important aspects and employing effective pedagogical strategies, educators can create a learning environment that supports interdisciplinary understanding and collaboration, preparing students to contribute meaningfully to the rapidly evolving fields of technology in healthcare. A conclusive remark is that the salutogenic perspective applied in this study contributes to a broader and global theoretical framework based on existing literature on salutogenic approaches in public health that can include concepts such as to collaborate with medical equipment, including user journey for designing better health services, and to deliver community health services in line with the user's needs through dialogue and reflexivity. Further concepts includes to co-designing new artifacts in health and technology, to stimulate mastering and coping in practical health context, and to promote globalization in health research and education. The study contributes with a case study relevant to higher innovation systems globally, and interdisciplinary understanding of a sense of coherence, as described in this study, can strengthen the collaboration between professionals and students in health and technology. The results of the current case study show also the potential for replication of the approach in different sites in various countries. The references for this research is here from the Co-Creation of Interdisciplinary Design Education, and also the reference for a salutogenic approach for collaboration in health and technology. In both these cases, design thinking and design literacy and user perspective has been of importance. The user-centered approach has enlightened the content in the creation of the master course, Interactions in Health and Technology. Thank you for attention. I'm now happy to answer any comments or questions. Perhaps any of you have some experiences of how you have dealt with your ideas in your design education practice, perhaps in health and technology. Please feel free to ask, and thank you for taking part so far.
Thank you so much, Arild. That was you've covered lots of ground, and thank you for providing the background about the what you've tried to achieve with the course, and it's quite it's a good indication that that you have 4 PhD students participating, to supporting sort of program. If you have any questions, do let me know, and you know, we can invite you in. But before we do, I have my first questions. I would have, and the question would be, Arild, is about the what is the kind of the future plans? You know, how do you envisage this will kind of evolve? You know, this is a very first stage you are at, I assume. And what do you think? So, what are your kind of the bigger aims?
Yes, it's there is a strategic aim for connecting health and technology at our university on one side. On the other side, there are some traditions of how the educations look like. So if you want to change the educations, then there are some, what should I say, restrictions in the traditions. So to make something new, there is some kind of, what should I say, challenges to do these kind of changes. So this idea started, I think, in 2016. So that's quite some years ago. It was made some, I was not part of that process, but there were some people who tried to establish this master in health and technology where design was a part. Then it was not successful. And then we started again with new people around 2019. So we had really strong hopes and thoughts in this idea. And then we developed this full master program. And then again, it was reduced, but it didn't disappear totally, but it was reduced compared to what the original idea was. But I'm very happy that we at least have now interdisciplinary master program in health and technology, but the design element is not as big as it was planned to be in the beginning. But when you ask what do I think about the future, I think this is the future. That the future is that the design competence is needed when we are going to deal with complex technology, difficult technology, advanced technology that is very difficult to understand across professional borders. We need this user perspective and the design competence that designers can contribute with is really necessary, I think, in a meeting with advanced technology.
That's great. Thank you so much for a detailed answer. I'm going to bring Christina in, and I think she's going to ask a question in Spanish. So please do make sure that if you don't speak Spanish, you are in English channel, so you can hear the interpretation into English. So Christina, can I bring you back? Can I bring you in and to ask your question, please? If you're yeah, you can if you're yeah, okay.
Correcto, estoy conectada.
Hello, Christina. Yeah, if you could ask your question, that would be great.
Bueno, muy bien, la había colocado en el chat. Muchísimas gracias por la actividad. Saludar a Úrsula, que fue la que nos invitó. Y realmente tenemos un disertante muy interesante que puede darnos una visión sobre la realidad americana. No sé si necesitan traducirlo o es simultáneo. Así hago la pregunta. Perfecto, bueno, mi intención es preguntar específicamente cómo, digamos, nosotros podíamos estar visualizando el modelo de inteligencia artificial en las condiciones de dar respuestas a consultas que la persona podría estar haciendo directamente al sistema en cualquier área del campo de salud. Entonces, ¿podría esta inteligencia artificial articular con la historia clínica del paciente una respuesta sencilla que pudiera tener una receta articulada directamente con la farmacia y que un robot pudiera estar expidiendo ese medicamento necesario y así evitar el colapso de los hospitales públicos? Sería una situación posible. Desde Argentina, por ejemplo, tenemos en este momento una situación económica extremadamente difícil y quizás lo que podría estar pasando es que el colapso de los sistemas de salud. Nosotros tenemos salud gratuita para todos. Esto significa que cualquier persona se opera, cualquier persona de cualquier lugar del mundo, de manera gratuita. Y esa correspondencia no existe en otros lugares para los argentinos. Tuvimos un caso en Bolivia de un argentino que fue apuñalado y no fue atendido en el hospital. Entonces, no existe la misma correspondencia, que es un tema diplomático. Pero podría existir la posibilidad de aplicar una situación de estas características, incluso para dar respuesta a los adultos mayores que no tienen la posibilidad de poder hacer colas enormes en las madrugadas para esperar una atención pública a un caso que quizás no sea de alta complejidad. Se puede estar pensando en esa alternativa, podemos estar instrumentando estas posibilidades y llevarlas a un sistema donde se aplique por ley, aprovechando la década de los adultos mayores. O sea, tiro todos estos datos a la mesa porque es algo que me preocupa sobre los derechos de la vejez y sobre las determinaciones de la salud, hasta qué punto una persona lo puede estar dejando determinado en su historia clínica como un antecedente de hasta cuándo hacer intervenciones, y si eso, digamos, articulado con la inteligencia artificial, generaría mejor atención y posibilidades de consulta internacional. Muchísimas gracias por permitirme hacer esta pregunta.
Eric, should I respond or? Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Christina, for your interesting question. And it's a very, very good question, which is very difficult to answer, I think. But I think it's a question many people ask at the moment now around the globe. And in Norway, where I live, it was a discussion about how artificial intelligence could help elderly people who were isolated and living alone in their homes. And there were some elderly people thought they could have some kind of company just by asking the artificial intelligence voice about their health, and it gave them some quite competent answers. Well, when I say quite competent, this is the challenge, of course, because what I have at least learned in collaboration with health professionals and also with artificial intelligence engineers is that they know their competence so well, much better than what I know. And there is a lot of, for example, ethical questions that are related to the health treatment. And can we, also as a designer, it's not possible to decide if this is the right answer, I think. So it requires a interdisciplinary approach to see what kind of things can be good to ask for example, in such a for an artificial intelligence robot, or what questions are not suited. But I think this is a very good question, but very difficult to answer. But I agree with this. It's a very interesting and important concern, and maybe we have to find solutions very quickly as if economy goes down, then maybe this is forced to become a solution in a way. Thank you for a very interesting question, Christina.
Thank you. Eva, can I bring you in? You have a question, and then we have Francesco, and I'm not sure if James has a question.
Of course, thank you, Eric. So I would like to ask you, Arild, when the language and practices of design are implemented into the world of health care and education, what language is replaced and challenged, like their traditions? What is your experiences with that?
Yeah, also a very good question, a very interesting question. I think this is something I think much about, and sometimes when we talk about, at least when my personal experience is that we struggle in the beginning to try to find the common language in a way, but after a while people might say, oh, this is what we call service, for example, in health, or primary service development, and not, for example, service design. So it's like all the time, somehow you have to find maybe similar meanings to content that is related but not described with the same language. But I think this is also very interesting from a research approach, to find the conceptual framework that can connect the different languages, or maybe the approaches where it's possible to connect people. And I think through pedagogical and educational approaches, it is possible, as described in the presentation, with, for example, problem-based learning. If you have a common project, a higher aim you want to solve, then you try to find pragmatic or practical solutions that can help in that matter. So, well, I cannot answer also this either, totally, but I think there is this linguistic question is very essential of where how to be able to collaborate. That we understand that we talk about, well, related things with maybe a bit different language, and this is also part of the design development, to develop the language or concepts, the conceptual framework for what it is to be a designer in a way.
Okay, thank you for the question, and thank you for the answer, Arild. We have a James, then we have a Ursula, and then we have a Jen. So James, come in, please.
Yeah, thank you so much for your presentation. This sounds very interesting and complete study. And I have a question to ask, like when you study with a cross-disciplinary like this study, and how can you choose the topic? I prefer to write about the science or art. Like which one is your to choice?
Yes, very interesting question. If the approach is science or art, if I understood it right, I think this has surprised me in a way, what is connected to art and what is connected to science. And if you think about my personal experience in dental technology, it's very connected to a technical, maybe scientific tradition, but the art part about form and color in teeth is also relevant. So it's in some way there are several professions or subjects where artistic competence and research competence can be melt together in a way, or a fusion. And in my view, I think that artistic practice and design practice is practice like other practices, and that science can be, or research can be related to both artistic practice, design practice, or other practices. So I think that art is not the opposite of science. It's like a scientific view can be used on all kind of practices.
Great. James, and then we have Francesco, then Ursula, and then Anna. Thank you.
Sure. Hi, Arild.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Thanks for the presentation. I think my question to you might not surprise you very much, because it's something we've kind of talked about before, and you've maybe heard me talk about a little bit. But I just wanted to hear your thoughts really, and your reflections, especially in the context of what you've been discussing today or presenting today, about salutogenesis. And that it kind of emerged, as I understand it, as a kind of as a kind of critical response to kind of the biomedical health, or aka kind of problem solving ill health with technology and different measures. So I just was curious what your thoughts are on salutogenesis kind of being in a way put back into a kind of problem solving situations, when it kind of emerged to not replace that, but to kind of as a different way of thinking.
Yes, I think that what has been very engaging for me in this salutogenic approach is this idea of thinking positively in a way, where you can instead of when I learned that this salutogenesis means the path to health instead of the opposite to the path to illness, it's about the way of thinking in a way. And I think these ideas that are related to salutogenesis, meaningfulness and sense of coherence, ability to influence, all these are things that are related to design practice in a way. The ability influence is a user perspective approach, I think. Meaningfulness and sense of coherence is about this holistic view. It's not like a monodisciplinary approach. It's about trying to find a meaningful context. So I think this is relevant in the, for example, problem-based learning, where you want to see what is the holistic meaning of what we are doing, going beyond the monodisciplinary border of what my expertise is, and how do we struggle to find this common ground and common process to solve maybe each part into a bigger aim in a way. So I think this concept is very useful, not only in our case in designing health and technology, and maybe in your case where you are, for those who don't know it, so James is working at the same institution as I do, and Eva and Liv at OsloMet. So he's doing a PhD about health and design and salutogenesis. So it's very interesting approach you have too, James. But that's my reflections about that connection.
Yeah, good luck, James. Good luck, James, with your PhD, and we hope to hear from you in the future. Francesca, if you can come in, and then we have Anna, then Ursula, please.
Thanks. I prefer Ursula first and Anna. Like I mentioned to you, my question is not directly connected to technology. Okay. I prefer to leave to the...
Oh, okay. Okay. What? So, Anna, are you ready? Thank you.
Thank you for this nice lecture. I want to know how is your special way for cooperation with doctors, with hospitals, with management, because I find this in Poland very difficult. We have this problem that because I want to did some design job, very simple job, like information for patients, like wayfinding for hospital with my students for free. But it's so difficult to just be respected by these people. Then this is my question: how do you work with them?
Yeah, very relevant question, I think. So it's I don't know. It's like always, I think that designers have a very interesting, they're very interested in doing collaboration, and maybe it's not always that the people that you want to collaborate with who want to collaborate back to you. So it's like, yeah, you don't see the same relevance as you do. So it's so this is a work that I refer back to what Eva said, that is what kind of language do you use when you approach them? And that's one approach that you can, I have several answers to this, but one approach is that you learn to speak the language, or they learn to speak your language in the design language. And another thing is this, at least in Norway, we have very formal procedures. If you want to work in the health with patients, then we have to go to, if it's any kind of research project that or educational projects that involve patients, then we have to apply for a regional ethical committee and describe with the health language what is the aim of the project, how can design contribute to this. So it's a very formal process, And this makes it more, you know, long process to get in real collaboration situations. But on the other hand, if you work together with practitioners in health, then it's a shorter way. And even if you can make educations together, in a way it becomes more natural to find practice placements where there are established lines to the practice. But to come alone from a design education into a health context is, I agree, very difficult.
Thank you.
All right, Ursula, come in, please.
Ok, gracias. En primer lugar, muchas gracias, Arild, por tu presentación. Me parece muy interesante y además visualiza muchas oportunidades para el diseño, lo cual es una gran noticia también. Mi pregunta se relacionaba y es parecido a lo que comentó Eva, relacionado a llegar a las dificultades para llegar a ese lenguaje común, que de alguna manera ya algo te referiste, pero después me quedé pensando, bueno, que no se trata solo de un lenguaje, sino que de culturas disciplinares o profesionales distintas, donde me imagino que hay una serie de barreras que ir atravesando y probablemente también hay algunos facilitadores que ayudan a lograr como una comunicación entre estas culturas profesionales distintas. Eso me gustaría si te pudieras referir, cuáles son las mayores barreras y los mayores facilitadores para lograr esta comunicación entre culturas disciplinares distintas.
Thank you for another very interesting question. There are very good questions in this group, I must say. So I think this challenges with languages and cultures are very common, not only from design and to health. I think it's also within the health professionals. They are talking among themselves about the need for interdisciplinary collaboration within the health system, because they have also very different cultures, from nursing culture, for example, or medical science or laboratory studies, and all these kind of different scientific traditions and different languages and different approaches is an obstacle. But I think that a potential is perhaps this. Well, I usually talk about the sustainability approaches where there's a need for interdisciplinary collaboration, but in health, it is also in some way in itself obvious that you need interdisciplinary collaboration to succeed with health projects. And well, I think it's the role of design researchers to contribute with this kind of language and cultural understanding to enable a bridge between the different professions. I think design has a specific competence to do that. Maybe it's because I come from that background, but I think it is really not all professions are not equally interested in this interdisciplinary collaboration and don't have the same tools. I think both the pedagogical tools that we see in this area and the pedagogical models, but also the design practices that exist, which is about connecting different needs and finding new solutions. And it's like trying to find out something new. I think design can really contribute to something in this matter. And I think the cultural challenges are there, but there is hope, I think. So I think design researchers can really contribute in this matter.
The very last
Muchas
question.
gracias.
Very last question. Thank you, Ursula. Very last question, Francesco. You take us out.
Eric, I don't know if it's correct to give me time to talk. First of all, Berg, fantastic. Thanks so much. Congratulations for your research. I'm not an expert in technology. Very well done. But due to the fact that Eric pushed me, I would like to say something. And I'm thinking, because I just received the feedback from a conference, and Liv, you are also involved, we talk about education. No? I don't want to talk about technology. That's why I absolutely understand that when you are doing research and consultancy in doing something, no? Like you mentioned, resolving problem, I understand. But if we talk about education sometime, and you touch just a little education, that means something to prepare future creative leader, no? Not only in resolving problem. There is a contradiction. Now, I just received the feedback from the conference, and Liv, you are also involved and we have discussion also with Derek Jones, no? Because I wrote a paper with a philosopher. Now, you talk about interdisciplinarity, you talk about different fields. I'm working with philosopher, and we propose something about cynical education, no? The negative education, the negatives, and they refuse the paper because there is no evidence that the design discipline look about the future. You also, Berg, repeat a lot about the future. And it's correct, absolutely. Pay attention, it's a paradox, no? It's correct because like designer, we need to solve problem. We need to propose something on the market to sell something and doing research on selling. But at the same time in education, we need also to think about the past. And if we think about the past, we lose time. We do something that is not for the market. And the paradox is this. That's why, anyway, I don't know if it's a question. Well done, great. I love to discuss and spend time with you. But there is a kind of closing mind in the design discipline because we look about future. No? We look about positive future, but there is also a negative past. I don't know if it's clear.
Yeah, I think it's, thank you for the reflection, philosophical reflection, Francesco. I don't have a clear answer to this either, but I think it is always a challenge for educators to deal with the traditions that has been established based on the society as it has been before. And then how can we change education's and new thinking into new professions, into the society that is evolving, and that we already see that the society has changed a lot, both in technology, but also, as Christina mentioned, this challenges in society. So there is a lot of things to deal with that is different from the past. So education should really change much, and I think more interdisciplinary education should be. There's a need for professional education, but there's also need for
sure. Agree.
Interdisciplinary education. Thank you.
That's really...
If I have only one question, Ursula and Cristina, but you mentioned about that you are working in ADIL. ADIL è l'Associazione per il Desarrollo dell'Intercambio, no? È un'associazione economica.
Cristina.
O me equivoco?
Cristina forma parte de ADIL, sí.
Because ADIL, that is, Cristina, I don't know you, but it's fantastic. It's an association to doing business, to helping country in Latin America to develop business, to sell something, to exchange goods. You understand, there is also a contradiction in this term. You talk about social issues, you talk about changing the society, the problem related to the geopolitical society, but at the same time, we need to sell solutions, we need to sell goods. Anyway, sorry.
No, pero no es la Asociación Latinoamericana de Integración, es la Asociación Latinoamericana de Diseño, donde pertenecemos nosotros, que es una distinto. Por eso digo, ALADI es de integración unida a territorios políticos, que nada que ver con nosotros. Está claro eso, porque la Asociación Latinoamericana de Diseño integra instituciones de la sociedad civil, y uno de los temas que estamos abordando es la cuestión de salud, sobre todo en adultos mayores, trabajando específicamente en esta área. Por eso hacía el comentario de la interdisciplina, que hay una cuestión de sentido común, y entonces cada, digamos, país también de alguna manera articula dentro de las políticas de Estado esta necesidad de insertar el diseñador en los campos de decisión. Si el diseñador pudiese estar en la gestión pública para dar soluciones, la articulación del lenguaje para la solución ambiental, para la solución edilicia, para las respuestas concretas de recuperación y terapia cognitiva, y en temas de personas con discapacidad motriz, visceral y demás, hay muchas respuestas desde las distintas cámaras y se puede articular mejor. La verdad que esta conferencia es muy interesante porque nos permite mixturar las realidades que tenemos en distinto lado, y a todos, como siempre decimos, tenemos una piedra en el zapato, que es la solución ante la soledad de muchas personas que, sobre todo en una vejez longeva, que a veces no es de evolución dinámica y que no llegamos a buenos estadios de salud, tengamos una posibilidad de, a través de la inteligencia artificial que nos están proponiendo en este programa tan interesante para llevarlo a la práctica en los debates de la proposición de leyes, porque el estar en una institución y acceder a la política pública con un proyecto permite mejorar la vida de personas, y entonces ahí es donde está la inteligencia del lenguaje. Por eso, Francesco, te aclaraba esto, perdón que de alguna manera me extendí en eso, pero quería diferenciarnos entre la sociedad civil de ciudadano común, que actúa por voluntariado y no por un sueldo. Insisto, quizás las realidades argentinas, en lo personal yo siempre pienso, el funcionario público debe atenderse en la función pública, educar a sus hijos en la función pública, porque es la manera de garantizar el buen desempeño profesional. Muchísimas gracias.
Te entiendo perfectamente, ahora te la compro y me gusta mucho, muy anárquica como visión, y anche una cuestión de poder. Ahora no tenemos tiempo, es puro poder esto, sorry.
Okay.
That's great. All right. There was, I think, there's more to debate, and it's, Arild, thank you so much. You brought up so many issues, through your talk, and you could see it actually through, the conversations we had. We kind of ran out of time, but I think we'll continue on this, and we'll work hard, how we can tackle some of these issues. And thank you so much for participation today. But I would like to draw your attention before we close for our next session. And our next sessions will be delivered by Fatma Kurkul, and you can see the banner on the screen, and it'll be in November, 7th of November, Tuesday, and we hoping to see you there. It will be a simultaneous translation again into Spanish and also in Chinese, so we'll see you there. And otherwise, yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you in a month time. And enjoy your whenever you are. A good night to you if you are in the east, and good morning to you if you are to the west. And if you are in the middle, then go back to your work and to your meetings, and enjoy your day. Okay, bye everybody.
Hasta luego. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
See
Bye.
you.
See you.